guys, this is Jeff from Evans Tuning. In today's Daily Tune episode, we have a Forester XT with a STI bottom end, STI turbo, injectors, drop-in fuel pump, turbo back exhaust, STI top mount, intake, STI intake manifold. So we're tuning it with Cobb Accessport, and it should be a really fun car. So we're gonna get this on the dyno and start calibrating it. You know what? I might have this key. It's not like tweaked.
Yeah, it's starting to crack a little bit.
Yeah, you know what? Just use mine. I'd rather not.
Yeah.
Round out the lug nut. Okay. Yeah, and just pop the hood.
But on my WRX, I actually had to do injectors because the fuel rail actually went bad. I thought it was the O-rings, so I did the O-rings.
Yeah.
Put it all back together. It was still leaking fuel from this injector. So then I did it again, and I replaced the injectors because like, okay, like maybe it's the injector.
Yeah.
So did that, put it back together, still spraying. So I read online that people had issues like if you just bent the fuel rail in the slightest bit, it would cause the fuel rail to go bad and not seal on there.
Like oval the hole, basically.
Yeah. So then I replaced the fuel rail and then it was fine. So I did like 3 or 4 times having the intake manifold all off and on. So I got pretty good at it at least.
Yeah, there's all the little tricks. Those brackets suck, the big brackets that are in the way there to do the injectors. Yeah, it's funny. I still like, because guys will show up with like a Honda or like even like the V8, like a Ford, like a Mustang or something. They're like, I want to switch my injectors when I get there. I'm like, just do it in the parking lot. Like, it'll take like a little bit, half hour, like whatever. And then guys will go, oh, I want to switch my injectors. Can we just do it real quick on that Subaru? I'm like, nope, not doing it.
No thanks.
Not getting involved. I'll send you a base map. Take care of that beforehand. Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. So yeah. Okay. Fan shot. As soon as that sensor touches the ground, it's bad. Done. It's like $80 every time. So I put that moving blanket, because it happens every once in a while, it'll shake itself out. So the car doesn't have a wideband in it, so I'm going to stick my my Motec PLM wideband, use it as a sniffer in the tailpipe. The factory does have the primary 2 sensor does read air fuel, but it only reads it to a certain point. Usually right around the 12 air fuel range. It doesn't read much past that accurately. So I throw my wideband in just to cross-reference the OEM sensor, and so I can also see a lot richer mixture when I'm tuning it, especially in the higher PMs. So get this guy on here, and we're almost ready to start tuning. So I'm going to plug in the Accessport to the OBD2 scan port, and then I'm going to plug the Accessport into my laptop. The cool thing about the Accessport on Subarus is that you can real-time tune the car. So I'm able to use the key maps that you need to do the calibration process, such as ignition timing, boost, mass airflow, or if we're going to do a speed density tune, all the map sensor-based maps. In this case, we're going to keep this car math-based because it's simple. It doesn't really need to do a speed density tune. But doing the real-time tuning tremendously speeds up the process instead of having to hard flash the car each time. For the first 1 or 2 times I'm going to be doing hard flashes, which is going to require me to set up the jumpers under the dash to do the hard flash. But once I get that done and I know everything's 100%, then I'm going to be able to enable the real-time tuning, and I'm going to be able to stream the tune in real time. So as I make changes, it's going to make changes to the car, and it's going to speed up the tuning tremendously. So I'm going to get this all set up and then start making some pulls. There we go. I just hard flashed the first initial map onto the car. I fired it up and it was fairly rich, so I scaled the injectors, scaled the injector latency, and then I just started to scale the MAF curve, get the fuel trims back in line, so it's running at 14.7, for idle and part throttle. So I'm going to now start driving the car on the dyno and calibrating the MAF curve. for the part throttle drivability. And then I'm going to move on to doing the boost pulls. Right now I have all the duty cycle maps for the boost control turned all the way down. So the car is going to run off of wastegate, the actuator, which is usually around 11-12 psi on an STI turbo. And then I'm going to slowly turn the boost up and set up the boost control so that it hits the target I program, and the proportional derivative control, the PID control, is calibrated properly, and the ECU is not trying to fight that. And that'll be the last thing, as we're doing all the full throttle pulls, we'll get all that done. But right now we're gonna get started on doing part throttle. So I just ran the car part throttle on the dyno, and I quickly set up the mass airflow curve. I had to recalibrate the mass airflow voltage for the airflow that it's expecting, so that I got the fuel trims back in line. It was a fairly simple process. It's really easy to do on a Dynapack because you can hold it at steady state RPM and sweep load, so it speeds the process up tremendously. So now I'm going to start doing some low boost pulls and calibrating the PID control and the duty cycle feedback for the OEM boost control. And we're going to walk it up and boost. I don't know how much power it's going to make exactly, but it should be probably 340, 350 torque, and about 310 to 320 wheels, pretty normal for like an STI. So I expect it to do fairly similar power. I don't know what boost it's going to take to get there on this particular combination of parts, but we're gonna see and find out. So I was able to make a couple full throttle pulls already. I started off with the actuator, on the wastegate actuator level, which is 11-12 psi, and in a few pulls I commanded more boost. Right now I'm commanding around 18 psi, dropping to 15 psi. Looks like that's about what this turbo is going to be able to put out safely. It does have a stock top mount, so that top mount is going to get heat soaked fairly quick if I run too much boost. But I'm dialing in the PID boost control from the factory. What that is I give it a target, and it looks at the target and sees how far off the target is, and it uses a high and a low duty cycle map to adjust the boost with the boost solenoid to try to reach that target. So you want to have your boost error, which is your difference from your target, so your actual boost to your target boost. You want to have that error be as small as possible, which means that your boost control is doing what it should. It means that your wastegate duty maps are programmed properly, so that the ECU doesn't have to sit there and make huge adjustments, which ultimately gives you more solid boost once you get everything dialed in right, and it doesn't give you a lot of overshooting or undershooting. So right now I'm pretty close to my target boost. My boost error is like a half psi, quarter psi, 3/4 psi. I'm going to make another pull or two and get that adjusted. And then I'm also playing with ignition timing at the same time, trying to find out where maximum brake torque is. And right now I'm still able to make this power. I have no knock feedback, the dynamic advance multiplier is still 1.0. So everything the computer's seeing is happy, so we're not seeing knock. So I'm going to slowly walk that up, find the level where it just starts to give me a little bit of knock, and then I'm going to back down from that, and that'll be my safe point for the computer to start using for ignition control. So with Subarus, a lot of them run top-mount intercoolers. That's the way they are factory. The top-mount intercooler design works very well when you have the hood scoop and the air is able to get onto the intercooler. In the situation where on the dyno, where the only airflow you have is from a fan or from a fan on top of it, it's generally not enough. So after a few pulls, I take water and I spray down the intercooler a little bit, let the intercooler cool down, and then I keep making pulls. Generally, you want to keep your intercooler so it doesn't heat soak. I do run the car towards the end, and I let the intercooler heat soak to kind of see the worst case scenario, so that if the car's driving on the road on a super hot day and the intercooler gets heat soaked, the ECU isn't pulling out a crazy amount of ignition timing and the car feels slow. One problem I see on a lot of Subarus is that they vary in how they feel responsive and powered day to day, especially in the hotter air in summertime. And that's because the ECU is dynamically adjusting the ignition timing all the time to try to keep the engine safe from knocking. And as a result, you have large swings in power levels. I've seen up to 50-60 horsepower with a heat-soaked intercooler loss with the ECU trying to pull back ignition timing. So my job is to try to regulate the intercooler temp as well as I can, but also make some pulls with it super hot so that I can see worst case scenario and try to balance the ignition timing in between that, so the computer's not constantly fighting, pulling timing, adding timing, and you get that day-to-day feel where the car is fluctuating in power a lot. So I just made the last pull, and I had the boost up at 19 psi. It drops to about 15. Put down 360 torque and 302 wheel. I had to limit the boost and the power up top. The injector duty cycle is around 91-92% at a safe air fuel. I'm able to make all that power without the ECU having finer learn knock trim or the DAM changing from 1.0 and dropping. So the computer's happy. Boost control's calibrated. I have my boost error is less than a quarter PSI, and my PID for my boost control feedback is all happy. It's not over or under adjusting the duty cycle too much, and my wastegate duty cycle maps are properly set up. So the car looks good. All the fuel trims are good. At this point, I think we're all set up here, and the computer's calibrated to all the mods it has done. So we just wrapped up tuning this Forester XT with an STI bottom end, STI turbo, injectors, top mount. Put down 360 torque with 302 wheel. Pretty solid numbers for what it has done on 93 octane. We're good results from the mods that the owner did. So keep tuning into our channel. Make sure you hit the subscribe button here. We got plenty more cool cars coming in to tune, and thanks for joining in.